Blended learning is the best way to differentiate in your classroom. It takes all of the guesswork out of wondering if you reached every student in your lesson. It is the definition of differentiation, and now that I've learned it, I will never go back.
Blended learning has enabled me to deliver content and assess students at an individual level. I have been able to tailor the learning experience for each student. Blended learning has allowed me to fill in gaps while simultaneously teaching new material. One of the biggest challenges for me as a teacher was finding time to meet one-on-one or in small groups with students. Blended learning has given me that extra time. While some students work on content online, I can do small groups and targeted instruction.
Blended learning has really made an impact in my 4th grade class. I've noticed that it's increased the engagement in my students, because not only do they love technology, but they also have some say in the activities that they choose, the order that they do it in, and it allows them to work at their own pace. Plus, there's no wait time. There's no students just waiting for others to finish. They each have their own path that they can choose. While they're working on their own lessons, this allows me to pull groups or individuals, and it also gives me a lot more data that I can look at, so I can individualize this learning path, the learning paths for them. The shift to home learning was pretty easy for my class. They were used to getting their menus. They knew how to navigate the menus. They were used to having choice, so it wasn't a big deal. They did know how to ask me questions. They asked me questions on Google Classroom, which I responded to them. It was nice to see how the other students were also replying to each other to help each other on Google Classroom. That was really cool. So the home learning was pretty easy for us.
Hey guys, it's Allison Hillman from EGES. This will be my 4th year using blended learning in my 1st grade classroom. I am loving using it in reading and math, and then I recently started incorporating it into science and social studies. And I love it for my kids for a couple reasons. One is it builds independence. Once they learn the routines, they are able to get on there and do it by themselves amazingly, which frees me up for small group and one-on-one. Another thing I love is the accountability. It's very easy for me to see how they're doing and give them targeted lessons for what they need. And it's also easy for them to be able to see how they're doing and get that immediate feedback, which I love because it helps them set and track goals. And yeah, if you're on the fence about it, go for it.
I've been using blended learning in my classroom for over 4 years. As a teacher, it has empowered me to try new and creative things with my students. They go to each other for help instead of going to me for help at the first sign of trouble. And they also are more independent. They're able to do work on their own at 6 and 7 years old that is truly impressive. When it came time for home learning in March, my 1st grade students were fully capable of completing playlists on Seesaw. I was so proud of them, and I can't wait to see what they do as they move on to 2nd grade.
Blended learning helps students and teachers in so many ways. So for students, it gives them ownership over their own work and an accountability that you can't get anywhere else. The game changer for me was the engagement and the ability to meet with my students either in small groups or one-on-one on a more consistent basis. This was revolutionary for me. I got to see each student on a consistent basis, which held them to a rigor, accountability, engagement, and relationship that is very difficult when you have 100+ students. So blended learning has really changed my classroom forever, and I am so glad.